Hey guys, what's going on? Hayden here, and welcome to another episode of the Smash Test, where I look at popular characters that people in the Smash community want to see in Super Smash Bros. And determining whether or not they have a chance of making it into the game. Today's character in question is Bomberman. Bomberman is the face of Hudson, a Japanese game developer that was founded in the mid-70s and bought by Konami in 2012. So for the sake of this video, I will be referring to Bomberman as a Konami representative. Bomberman has a very vocal fanbase behind his inclusion in Smash, so let's run Bomberman through the Smash test. I will start with the arguments that don't affect Bomberman one way or another, and the only one I can come up with for Bomberman is that he's a third-party character, which of course means absolutely nothing, since characters like Cloud can apparently get into Smash now. It all comes down to how popular the character is, regardless of who the character legally belongs to. Now, onto the arguments for Bomberman getting into Smash, and boy there's a lot of arguments in his favor. Nintendo and Konami seem to have a pretty good relationship right now. The Nintendo Switch has Super Bomberman R as a launch title after all, which seems to be a return to form for Bomberman after some questionable games. If you had asked me 6 months ago, I would have said Bomberman is a very irrelevant character nowadays, but Super Bomberman R seems like the game that might save him. Speaking of Super Bomberman R, every new DLC character in Smash Wii U and 3DS had a new game releasing around the time of their inclusion in Smash, except Bayonetta, but she was the fighter ballot winner. For Ryu, it was Street Fighter V, for Corrin, it was Fire Emblem Fates, and while the Final Fantasy VII Remake is still a ways off, the timing for Cloud's inclusion was very fitting, since the hype for the FF7 Remake was still high back then, and to some extent still is. Rumors seem to point that a Smash Bros. For the Switch is coming before too long. With Bomberman having his first major release in a long time, it seems like the time could be right for his inclusion in Smash. But getting back to Nintendo's relationship with Konami over the years, because it's been pretty good. Konami has been releasing games on Nintendo's hardware from the 80s to the early 2010s, with series like Castlevania and Pro Evolution Soccer. While Konami hasn't released anything recently, this isn't a relationship issue with Nintendo, but just that Konami has some serious internal problems. Completely screwing over Kojima. Speaking of Nintendo over the years, Bomberman has made an appearance in at least one game on every Nintendo console and handheld except 3DS and Wii U, which was likely a result of Hudson being bought by Konami and Konami not caring about the Bomberman intellectual property. And yes, I will save you some research, there was a Bomberman title on the Virtual Boy. Not even Mega Man can say that. Oh yeah, how did I not point out that Bomberman just aesthetically fits? I mean, look at him. He really has that Nintendo kid-friendly vibe going on. So there's that. Finally, you can't ignore the impact Bomberman has had on the 4-player couch multiplayer scene, which is something that Smash Bros. Has kept alive to this day. It just seems fitting that Bomberman, one of the oldest 4-player multiplayer characters, should be included in a game all about 4-player multiplayer. Well, I guess Smash is now 8 players, but you know what I mean. Now, on to the reasons why Bomberman might not make it into Smash. If Bomberman was still just a Hudson rep, there would be much less competition for Bomberman regarding other Hudson representatives. But because Bomberman is now part of Konami, that complicates things. There are some pretty noteworthy representatives to choose from in Konami's catalog, such as Simon Belmont from the Castlevania series, or the hopeful return of Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Yeah? Maybe? Maybe? Bomberman also isn't as iconic as some of the other third-party characters in Smash. When you look at all of the third-party characters in Super Smash Bros. Already, each of them represents an important era or step forward in gaming. Pac-Man represents the arcade era, Mega Man represents the hardcore platformer, Sonic was the first real threat to Mario. Oh, yeah, to you younger folk, there was a time when Sonic was actually gaining popularity on Mario. Anyway, Ryu is the face of fighting games, and Cloud is Mr. RPG. While you could say that Bomberman represents early local multiplayer, I think Mario has become a stronger representative for the face of local multiplayer, with his kart racing and his parties. Finally, it is possible that Super Smash Bros. Switch, if it's a real game, has been in development for a while now. If that's the case, Sakurai likely has already figured out who he would be adding to the roster. He might not have known about a new Bomberman game coming to the Switch and written off Bomberman as dead. That said, he was aware of Greninja way before Pokemon X and Y was even announced, so it's hard to say. But to be honest, a month ago, I would have had no trouble saying Bomberman is officially dead. So, does Bomberman pass the Smash test? Yes. While he may not be as iconic as some of the other third-party characters in the game, he is an important part of Nintendo's history, making a release on almost every console and always providing excellent multiplayer are two really big achievements for Bomberman. And with his series being revitalized with Super Bomberman R, I personally believe that Bomberman has a chance. Thanks for watching today's episode of The Smash Test. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out a lot. But I want to hear what you all have to think. Does Bomberman have a chance? Or is he not important enough? Also, which character should I cover next? Finally, make sure you subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter for the Smash Test and other Nintendo goodness. Links for those are in the description, so peace out for now guys, bye.